Hello my dear friends. So welcome to our channel. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about digestion and absorption. So I'm starting this lecture. So everybody will eat food. Why they are eating food? What is the purpose of eating food? So that they will get some energy, they will gain some energy, due to which they will use that energy in doing some works. Right? So whenever we are taking food, in that food, what are the components will be present? What are the compounds will be present? You can see here, these 6 compounds will be present in a food. Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, minerals, vitamins and water. These are the 6 compounds will be present. And these 6 compounds which is present in the food is divided into 2. One is the complex compounds and the second one is the simple compounds. So you can see here why I am saying this as a complex compounds and why I am saying this as a simple compounds. So here the reason is that because this carbohydrates is made up of it is made up of poly chains, like so many glucose chains will be there, so many fructose chains will be there, so many galactose chains will be there, like that so many chains will be there, due to which we are saying this as complex compounds. So as it is a complex compound and as it is a simple compound, so whenever we are taking a food, whatever the simple compounds which is present inside the food will be directly absorbed by our body. You can see here, whatever the simple compounds will be present, it will be directly absorbed by our body. We don't have any mechanism for this. It will be get directly absorbed by our body. We no need of any mechanisms here. There is no need of any mechanisms here. But as you can see here as it is a complex compound, so many chains will be there. So we should have to break the chains and we should have to convert the complex compounds into simple compounds. We have to convert the complex compounds into simple compounds. So whenever we are converting the complex compounds into simple compounds, we need a mechanism known as digestion. We need a mechanism known as digestion. So what are the complex compounds here? Carbohydrates, proteins and fats. So you can see here, proteins, we should have to break down the proteins into amino acids, which are basic units of proteins. We should have to break down the carbohydrates into glucose, fructose and galactose, that means monosaccharides. And we should have to convert or we should have to break down the lipids into fatty acids and glycerol. So whatever be the complex compounds present in a food, it will undergo a mechanism known as digestion. That is nothing but whatever the complex compounds which is present in the food, it will get broken down into simpler compounds which will be get directly absorbed by our intestine. So whatever the simple compounds which is present here, it will get directly absorbed in our intestine. We don't need any mechanism. No need of any mechanism for the simple compounds. It will get directly absorbed by your intestine. But for the complex compounds, we need a mechanism. Because as it is a complex, as it is made up of so many chains, we should have to break down the chains and we should have to convert the chains into simple compounds. So after converting into simple compounds, it will be get directly absorbed by our body. So the mechanism which is needed here to break down the complex compounds into the simpler compounds is only known as digestion. So here, in these carbohydrates, proteins and fats, how we are going to digest after eating the food, we will see in the upcoming videos. Here I just described you what is the definition for the digestion. And here you can see here the simpler compounds. What are those simpler compounds? Minerals, vitamins and water. So what I'm asking is that if you're taking sufficient amount of water but you're not eating food, will you get energy? Will you get energy? No. You would have observed while whenever you are playing so many matches or you are playing cricket or you are playing football, you might drink water. I'm not saying you will not drink water. You might drink water. But with the water, can you survive? Will you get sufficient amount of energy for a long time? No, it's not possible. Water will not give you that much amount of energy so that you can play for the whole day. For to survive, not only water is essential. These complex compounds are also essential. Why I am saying these complex compounds are essential? Because this is the only main source of energy. This is the only main source of energy. We are getting more amount of energy from these complex compounds. More amount of energy we are getting. So that's why we used to say that we should have to eat food. So much of foods we should have to eat. In fruits too we are saying this. So instead of taking water, how much amount of food we are taking, that too matters for us. So you can see here. So these complex compounds is the main source of energy for a human being. As it is a main source of energy, we can call this as principal foodstuffs or proximate foodstuffs, in which food the more complex compounds will be there. We will call that foodstuffs as principal foodstuffs or proximate foodstuffs. In which more water content will be there. In which food the more water content will be there, we will call that as protective foodstuffs. So why we are calling that as protective foodstuffs? What is the reason for calling protective? Protection. That means we are saving someone. Protection. But why we are calling these as protective foodstuffs? Because it protects us against deficiency disorders. Like iron deficiency will be there. Sometimes the people after getting some age, what will happen is that their eye power will decrease, because due to the reason of lack of vitamin A. So vitamin A is very essential for our eyes, right? So if there is any lack in the minerals or vitamins or in the water, it will lead to deficiency disorders. It will lead to a disorders. For example, if you are not taking sufficient amount of water, you have to suffer from constipation. You have to suffer from constipation. So these three compounds also plays an essential role in our body. So if there is any lack in these three minerals, vitamins or water, then we will suffer from any disorders. Then we may suffer from any disorders. So as it is protecting us against deficiency disorders, it will be known as protective foodstuffs. So in the minerals, two types of minerals are there, macro minerals and micro minerals. In macro minerals, what will happen is that we should have to take at least 100 gram per day. At least. Actually, we should have to take more than 100 gram per day. You can see here, we should have to take at least 100 milligram per day. 100 milligram per day, not 100 gram per day, 100 milligram per day. So at least we should have to take 100 milligram per day. So for a person, per day we should have to take 100 milligram. More than 100 milligram we should have to take, but at least, I am telling very minimum, we should have to take at least 100 milligram per day. And what are those macro minerals? You can see here, calcium, phosphorus, which is required for bone. So these minerals we are getting from the food. So if these minerals we are not taking in sufficient amount, what will happen? Our bone will get damaged. Our bone will not get sufficient amount of calcium and phosphorus. Then it might become so fragile, so weak. So whenever you are just falling from a very small height, also your bone will get fractured. That means you are not having that much sufficient amount of calcium and phosphorus. Right? So vitamin D also plays an important role in the bone. So you can see here, so many factors, so many minerals, so many vitamins are there, which is helping for the bones to be strong. So that's why I told that minerals, vitamins and water are very essential, and it will help us against deficiency disorders. It will prevent deficiency disorders. So you can see here macro minerals. What are those macro minerals? Calcium, phosphorus, sodium, potassium, sulfur, chlorine and magnesium. These are the macro minerals. We should have to take at least 100 milligram per day. You can take more than 100 milligram per day too. But whatever the micro minerals which is present here, we should have to take always less than 100 milligram per day. Micro minerals we should have to take less than 100 milligram per day. And what are those micro minerals? You can see here, iron, copper, manganese, iodine, cobalt and zinc are the micro minerals. So this is all about today. So here the main discussion is about the digestion. Why the digestion we are saying? What is the need of digestion in our body? What is the need of digestion in our body? Because we should have to convert the complex compounds into the simple compounds. We should have to break down the chains of the proteins, carbohydrates and fats. So as we are breaking down the complex compounds into simpler organic compounds, we need a mechanism known as digestion. So after this process, it will get directly absorbed by our body. That is what matters here. So now you would have understood the correct definition for the digestion, and you would have also understood what are the components, what are the compounds present in the food. So in the next section, we will be coming with the teeth, So we will coming with alimentary canal. In the next lecture, we will study about the teeth. So in the next lecture, we will study about alimentary canal, which is also known as digestive system. So we will discuss there in detail. So if you would have liked this video, then like it, subscribe it, comment it, and share it with your friends. Okay, so take care.